if we give you this money, can you pay it back? Why does it like every time we decide to change our lives, we want to go like back to church or we want to go back to school? Oh, I did not say that in the beginning. I am a part of the 700 Club. Yes, I am. What's up, y'all? I keep saying y'all, but hey to all the homies, because if you've been here before, you're the homie at this point. If you're new, you're also the homie because you're here. So welcome. This video is going to be about my credit history and what I did to ruin my credit, because you know, at some point I'm pretty much sure like a lot of us did it, but me personally, I definitely did it. First, I'm gonna give y'all the definition of credit. I'm gonna actually put it right here so y'all can get like the dictionary definition, but also I'm gonna tell you my straightforward definition for credit. Credit is basically, if we give you this money, can you pay it back? How well do you pay it back? Can you pay it back on time? And should we trust you again? That's basically what it means. Back in 2012, I wanted to buy a car. So of course, me working a minimum wage job, I'm not gonna tell y'all where, but it was minimum wage, okay? Now, if you're working a minimum wage job and you're also going to school, it's gonna be kind of hard to get back and forth because you gotta pay for the bus, you gotta pay for somebody to take you on, you know, take you there, to and from, and then also you're trying to save money, but then you also gotta eat because everybody gotta eat. Yes, I was living with my parents. I was not moved out by myself because I couldn't afford it. One fateful day when I'm on my way to school, I had to catch the bus. It was raining outside and I'm waiting on the bus. I feel like y'all know where I'm about to go with this. It was exam week and my teacher said, if you're late, your grade gets dropped a letter grade. So what happened to me as I'm standing there with my little backpack and my project in hand? I see the bus. I know the bus sees me. She looks at me. I look at her. She just keeps going. She just keeps going. I'm like, ooh. So I call my mom. She's supposed to be on her way to work, but I'm like, I really need you to take me to school. So I think she took me to school that day. I get there, my letter grade got dropped, of course, but you know, it is what it is. And after that, I was like, I need a car. So we went to a dealership. It was like a small little dealership, maybe about less than 10 cars there. Scanned a lot. And I saw one, I was like, I like this. It's nice, small, it's comfort, compact, clean. I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get that one. I look at it, and my mom looked at it, asked them, he told us how much, and then my dad also test drove the car and whatnot. I was dead set on it, because I'm like, I'm leaving out of here with something. I feel like Denzel, I'm leaving out of here with something. Something has to get got. I have to get something. So they looked at the car, told me how much it was gonna be. The dealership told me how much it was gonna be. And I think I maybe had 600 saved up at the time, over like months of trying to save up. I ended up going to the bank because I, of course, had to get a loan because my parents was like, no, you're going to do this on your own. So I'm like, all right, bet. Cool. My first adult in piece, and I did it on my own. Went to the bank. Bank told me what I was gonna need. They took my social security, my credit. They ran my credit. They gave me the money. I think it was like a check. I think my first time they ran my credit, it was like a I don't know why I want to say a 650. It was like a 650 or a 630, something like that. It was like in the 600 range because, of course, I ain't got no real credit. That happened. Gave them the money. Went off the lot with the car. My mom had to drive because I didn't have insurance because I didn't even have a license. 2 weeks later, I ended up getting my license, but I got that car because I was not playing. I'm like, ain't nobody else about to get this, so I got it. I didn't know at the time like what I really needed and really understood like what was the purpose of a credit score, but I did have a job, so I had been working my job for almost a year, and then also I didn't have any bills because I'm living at home with my parents. I didn't have a need to have like real bills, except for my cell phone and like food if I wanted to eat, but then I was also working somewhere that I could eat food for free, so I'm like, that works. I don't remember a whole lot about that period of time, but I do remember them giving me like a credit score and then also them paying for the car, but I also had to pay it back. When they first told me I had to pay my car back, I wasn't thinking like, oh, like is it mandatory I had to pay it back like on time? I didn't understand like the stipulations and all that. I knew, but I didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like when you're young, you don't think too much about it because this isn't something that you're used to doing. So I got the car, I had to make payments. I also had to pay insurance. I was late on my payment and I didn't understand how serious it was. Not only that, I think I was also late on my insurance too because I also spent my money. I spent like all of it. And I was in school, so I had got a little bit of money and I was like, I'm about to go shopping. Oh yeah, I'm about to go shopping. I'm like, I got me a new car. I gotta look nice. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is when you get your first car. You gotta make sure your car clean. You gotta make sure you clean in your car, in your new car, your brand new car. So yes, that was me. That was me. Also, I cut my finger right here and I don't have band-aids, so I had to like makeshift my little band-aid. Don't judge me. But I had me a car. My mom had to let me know, like, look, you're on your own. You are on your own. On my own, I was. I think she actually helped me out the first time. She was like, I'm gonna help you out. After this, be responsible. So I learned how to be responsible, okay? I learned how to budget my money. I learned how to pay my bills on time. So that was my first car. Second car, after I messed up the first car, R.I.P. to Nina, that was my first car. I named her. It was a '02 Ford Escort. Mind you, I got my car in 2012, 10 years. But that's not bad though. My first car was I want to say 2600, but it was like, I think I had to borrow like 1600. So it might have been like 2000 or something like that. I can't even, remember to even tell you guys, but pretty much, let's just say it was 2600. I put 600 down, so they probably gave me like 2000. They set up the payments for me and they gave me like the little payment book. That was my first car. So then my second car, after my first car I was driving across railroad tracks too fast. It went up, boom, I hit the bottom of my car. And I messed up the gear shift. So if I'm going over 30 miles an hour, it would just like slowly shut off on me. It's dangerous, I know, but please take care of y'all cars. So that was the first car. Second car, I took money off that first car. I paid the second one in cash. But then the second one had an electrical problem. So I had to get another one like 3 months later, which I bought another one on credit. Now, this third car was I don't even want to lie to you. I think it was like maybe an old 05 or something. A little bit newer. It was still pretty nice. Inside clean, outside nice. That one had the same, exact fate. I wish I could tell y'all what happened to that car, but I just remember, no, I do remember. I got into an accident. I think I was paying my bills on time though, which was good. Yeah, with that car, I think I also had to get another car on credit. So whatever I didn't pay on that first car, it got rolled up into the new car, okay? So don't think just because you mess up your car or you ruin your car, they're just gonna like throw away the loan. Oh, it gets rolled over. Oh yeah, it gets rolled over. So not only did I have the old loan, but I have the new loan too, okay? Just remember that. I got into an accident. I didn't have insurance because I lapsed on my insurance because I forgot about my insurance. And it wasn't even that I forgot per se. I just didn't pay it because I didn't understand like this is a very serious thing that you have to have. So I got into the accident. I'm pretty sure the guy just had to pay out of pocket because, how else was he going to pay for his car? That car also ended up having like, I don't know, like maybe transmission or electrical problems eventually. I spent like over $800 trying to get it fixed. And eventually I was just like, this ain't gonna work. This isn't working because I don't know what the problem is and I'm spending way more money trying to figure it out than, actually getting fixed. So I was just like, you know what, scratch it, forget it. Mind you, I'm still working a minimum wage job. This is like maybe two years later. After my first car, not a whole lot of time. So I still have that loan. I got the new loan. Now I have to go get another loan. You follow me? So with this new loan, I have got a 2007 Jeep Liberty. It was a really nice car. I like that car. That was my first Jeep too. Jeep gang. Let me know in the comments if you Jeep gang. Let me know. So that was my first Jeep. I always wanted like a nice little truck, but I got that one first. I seen it, I was like, ooh, I gotta get that. I think my mom and dad looked at it and they were telling me about it and they're like, yo, be careful because it's still be top heavy and you don't want to like flip over. I'm like, I'm fine, I'll be okay, I just gotta slow down. I ended up getting a lot of speeding tickets, like a lot. So with my third car, they were done with me at that point. My license got suspended, which means I couldn't go anywhere. At least I couldn't drive anywhere. I had to catch the bus or I was getting rides. I still had to work, but I was only making like a little bit above minimum wage. A little bit, not a whole lot. That was April. I remember it very vividly. It was April when I messed up my car. So May, June, July, August, September, going into October, okay? This is 6 months later. I decided to turn my life. I decided to turn my life around. I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I gotta get a car. I feel like I'm a little bit more responsible. I went back to school. Why is it like every time we decide to change our lives, we want to go like back to church oh, we want to go back to school. Like, it's always something. Or we decided to change a new job, which I also did, which leads me into this. I ended up getting a job. I got hired on by a guy that came into my job, and I was a janitor, by the way. He came in there and he's like, oh, I've been seeing you for a while, and you do your job really well, blah, 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 yes, 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 and I want you to come work for me. He was top dog. So I'm like, all right, bet. Shout out to Scott. I ain't gonna tell y'all where, but shout out to Scott. I was already having problems with my manager because, long story short, you're gonna have some, and this is for some people that are new to having jobs, you're always gonna have somebody breathing down your neck for no reason. You're always gonna have somebody that's gonna dislike you for whatever reason. When this person came in, I'm just long story short, when this person came in, I remember her sitting at the desk. She didn't acknowledge me when I walked in. You would think like, oh, when somebody walks in, you would look up, you try to greet them, especially if you're front desk. She sitting there on the computer, didn't even look up. You knew here. The lady, well not lady, but the girl that I know, she was telling her like, oh, this is Lexus, and she, she works under you. And she ain't say shit. She ain't say nothing. She ain't even look up. So I go to the back, I'm like, I don't care. I'm here to do my job and get my paycheck so I can go home. One thing led to another. She telling lies, she basically telling me how to do my job, but she's never done my job. And I caught her in a lie. So I guess that didn't, feel too good to her. It wasn't like I was being rude about it, but I'm like, look, you can't tell me I'm doing something wrong, but you do the same thing, and I'm telling you it is what it is, and now you want to say, oh, it's too late, because now you're making me look bad, which whatever, but I'm not here for that. So I ended up meeting Scott. He ended up giving me a job, and at first I was like, I don't know if I should do it or not. Also, another lesson, if you are presented with an opportunity and it sounds good, take it. Sometimes I would say about 99% of the time, you probably should at least consider it. So I considered it, I looked into it, and I already knew I wanted to leave. That's what I've been hoping and wishing and praying for. Here's my opportunity, I gotta go. So she was really rude about it. I'm like, whatever, I don't have time for this. And another thing also, my third point for this, you never know who's watching you. So if I was the type at the time to like pop off on her and he was watching me, he could have been like, oh no, I can't have you on my team if you're gonna be acting like that. So I gracefully walk myself on out of there without doing the 2-week no notice. Like, no, like we know what this is, and there's no point of us doing this. I already have a job lined up. Let me just go ahead and head out and just enjoy my life. I ain't seen her since, but yeah, I don't wish bad on people. Just life is what it is, ma'am. Anywho, and I still don't even know the woman's name. I still do not to this day know this woman's name. That's how weird she was. Like, yo, you didn't even introduce yourself. Anyway, so with me having a new job, I was not going to be able to get on the bus line. There was no bus line going over there. So I would have to get rides every day to and from work, because I think I was getting there around 3 and I didn't get off till like maybe 11, I want to say. It was pretty late. So there was number one, there was no logical reason for me to get on the bus that late. And then 2, me having to get rides, either my mom or dad, my brother, my sister. It just wasn't, it just didn't make sense. Because now they're coming out of their way when all I had to do in the beginning was be responsible. So here we go, back to the bank. And they were like, yo, this time we can't do it. This time we cannot give you another loan, because you got the first loan, you got the second loan, now you need a third loan, and you didn't have insurance on your last car, you got into an accident, your license got suspended. So I got all of these things that I didn't accumulated over time. So they said, you are gonna have to have a cosigner. Now for the ones that don't know what a cosigner is, I'm gonna put like the dictionary description of what a cosigner is, but here's my definition of it. Not for everybody, but some of y'all, or some of us I should say. You are irresponsible, we cannot trust you, we don't think you can pay this back, it doesn't look like that if we give you this money you may not be able to pay it all back, so we need a third party to step in, or a second party, however you want to look at it. We need somebody else to step in and say, if she don't pay it, if she messes up, I'm gonna take the fault for it. I'm gonna put my credit, I'm gonna put my money, I'm gonna put myself on the line, knowing that I'm good for it, even though I know that person might be good for it too. I can vouch for this person saying that they're gonna handle their responsibilities, but in the case that they don't, I'm gonna handle it for them. Okay, so that's what my mom did for me. Shout out to my mama. And she was super hesitant, which I understand, because I don't want to mess up. You know, she don't want her credit messed up either, and I completely get it. But she was like, look, Lex, if you mess up, and I'm like, I got got you, I got you, I got you. I'm like, please just help me out, sis. And plus I was making a lot more money than I was before, so I'm like, it was like a $6 increase, $5 or $6 from my last job. So she's looking at it like, I don't want, you know, my child to not have an opportunity, but I also have to look out for myself. So parents, you definitely got to look at that, and children understand that this is not an easy thing. At the time I thought like, you know, it's me, it's me, mom. I don't know where I'm getting this accent from, but it's me, mom. I'm trying to do like an Italian accent. I feel like that this just warrants one of those moments. Like, it's me, mom, like, it's me. Hope ain't nobody offended by that. She was like, all right, we gonna do it. We gonna do it. So she signed her name on it. I'm pretty sure my interest rate was a lot. I don't even know how much it was, but I'm gonna also put right here what interest rate is. Basically, interest rate is the amount that you have to pay a percentage for borrowing somebody else's money. So with all of these loans that I was getting, I did have to pay a percentage for, you know, utilizing their money. Now if I paid all of it outright, I wouldn't have to worry about an interest rate, but of course I need money, and they were like, we'll give you $1,000, but you got to pay 10% back, which would be $100 if you was to pay it in a month. But each month that you didn't pay it off, that's an extra 10% every month. The cars that I had, this is also another part of just like having a car, your insurance. So all of these tickets, with my insurance being lapsing on my insurance, my license getting suspended, I also had to pay fees, which also had to add on my SR22 bond. My insurance went, I think I was paying more for my insurance than I was paying for my car note. My insurance was like almost $400 for an '07 car, and it was 2014 or 15. So that's a lot, which eventually I got it down to like maybe $100 with full coverage, but it was like maybe $60 with liability insurance. Don't mess up, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't mess up, man. Don't get into accidents. Keep your insurance up to date. Pay off your loans as soon as possible, okay? So that's my little start of credit. It all started with my cars. The other part of me having credit was, and of course I'm obviously doing a lot better because now I'm in the 700 club. Oh, I did not say that in the beginning. I am a part of the 700 club. Yes, I am. Another part of me having credit was I wanted to use credit cards, you know, to build up my credit. So I'm like, okay, well, most people get, you know, store credit cards, or they get like, say, American Express or Capital One, or, you know, just MasterCard, Visa. So I'm like, I could do that. All I gotta do is just, you know, pay it back. My first credit card was Forever 21 because I like Forever 21. I lapsed on it. Why? Because I didn't understand, like, they really was like serious about getting their money back. I'm thinking like, I can get a credit card and I can just pay it back whenever I get ready. No. You pay it back when it's due, and if you don't pay it back when it's due, you get nothing besides your credit score getting lowered. So say if you get a credit card and they give you a limit of $100, so $100 right here, you can spend up to $100. After that, some credit cards, they'll let you they'll give you an alert saying, hey, you went over your limit, make sure you pay this down, so you know we don't have no problems. I was like maxing out my credit card, but I wasn't paying it back on time. So say if it was due on the 3rd of the month, I wasn't paying it back on the 3rd because it said the minimum you have to pay is like $25. So I'm like, I just pay the 25 because why would I pay 100 if I could just pay 25? Duh, no, don't do that. So I learned the hard way, and it hit my credit time and time again. Not only did it hit my credit, but some months I wasn't paying it, or I was just going like months without paying it out, because I'm like, all right, if you're gonna hit my credit, F you, I ain't paying it at all. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, they're very serious about these things. That was my first run-in with credit cards, and I did get that credit card canceled because I'm like, I'm gonna pay this back and I'm not about to have no more problems with these stupid credit cards. And I got another one. Matter of fact, yeah, I got another one, and I did the exact same thing. A little bit different. So with this credit card, I had got, I think it was Capital One. I got a Capital One credit card, and I think my credit limit was like 300. So my credit card limit was 300. I heard that you're supposed to use no more than 30%, which for me would have been $100. So I'm like, all right, I'll use $100. So I used $100. Don't do that, because technically if you're using 30% of your credit card, they're like, why are you using so much? That's a lot of credit. For me, what I should have been doing is use like maybe 5, maybe 10%, which would have been like gas for the week. Gas was only like $20, you know, $20 a week for me, fill up my little tank, which I should have been doing, but I'm like, you told me 30%, so I'm gonna use 30%. You're now maxing out on your credit card. Don't do that. Keep it as low as possible. Use only gas or like one grocery store trip for the week, as long as it's under, I would say, about $30. Use no more than maybe 10% of your credit limit. So 10% of 300 would be $30. Now let's say if you have a credit limit of $3,000, that would be $3,300, and you know, so on and so forth. Make sure you keep that as low as possible. I learned the hard way. Now we have credit cards, we have cars, doctor's bills. Like, I would see a bill and I'd just be like, I ain't about to pay this, like, I ain't about to pay all of that. Don't do that. Don't do that. All of these things are going on your credit report, which I learned about credit reports. So like, I was getting credit reports, but I wasn't paying enough attention to them. So every time I did something or got my credit ran and somebody would deny me or somebody will accept me, it's going on there as, oh, she's using this amount of credit, or she's ran her credit amount this amount of times, or she's using this much, you know, amount of credit due to the credit card bills. And then you using so much compared to how much you actually make. Mind you, a lot of these jobs I was working was technically a little bit over, either at or a little bit over minimum wage. So I wasn't making enough to where I could justify how much I was spending. Don't do what I did. So what did I do? I say all of that to say this. What did I do to fix my credit? What did I do to get to the 700 club? I'm gonna try to make this quick because I don't want to draw this video out too long. What I did was, I got serious. I stopped using my credit card because I'm like, look, I'm no good with this. So I paid my credit card off, and I think I either shredded it up or I left it. I don't even know where that old credit card is, but I left it somewhere to where I couldn't even touch it. I used cash, and if I couldn't use cash, then I used, I swiped my debit card. I got serious about paying my car off, so that last car that I told y'all about, my the fourth car that I had, I ended up paying it off because I was just like, every time I get paid, I'm gonna put a little bit more on, a little bit more on. That way, not only am I cutting the interest rate off, making sure that I could pay it off as soon as possible. So I think it was January where I got like a decent amount of money. I don't remember, but I got a decent amount of money, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just put, I think I only had like $1,000 left, so I was just like, you know what, take it. Take my $1,000. Like, I'm tired of having to deal with this, whatever, take it. So yeah, I paid off my car a little bit earlier, and then I also kept up with how my credit score was going. So I will check my app weekly, Credit Karma, or I was checking Experian. Experian, I would say, is a little bit more reputable. But yeah, I made sure like anything that I can get off of my credit report, whether it being wrong or if it was out of date, I was taking things off my credit report to make sure that I ain't gotta worry about this no more. So that way, when I do need to use my credit again, somebody can look at it and say, okay, she's being responsible, she's doing what she needs to, she's had credit for a certain amount of time, but she's also paying everything on time. That's important. I was not taking out new lines of credit. I was keeping the same ones that I had, which that also is important. You want to also have different types of credit because that goes into your credit score, but you also want to make sure all these things are paid off. You also want to make sure that you're not using too much credit, and that your debt to income ratio is not too high. So I was keeping everything low, and I wasn't doing anything extra. I wasn't being extra. I wasn't spending too much money, but I was still spending, but I was spending in cash. That was the important thing. Every year you are allowed to get a free credit report. I think it's freecreditreport.com. Also, Experian has it, I know for sure. You can pay to have like different subscriptions for certain apps. That way they'll tell you like, what is your credit score between the 3 credit bureaus, which would be TransUnion, Experian, and I can't remember the other one for some reason, but I'm gonna put them all right here so y'all can see it. Make sure you know what your credit score is. I definitely advise that. That way at least you can know where you're at any point in time. Like, it can be annoying, especially when you're trying to build it up and you keep seeing certain hits getting put on your credit report. However, when you go to actually take out more credit and you want to go buy a car for whatever reason, or you want to buy a house, or you want to get a motorcycle, or you need a loan for something, you know, emergencies happen. Make sure that you know where you are at all times. Also, you can check your bank. They'll be able to give you the information. That way you don't have to keep going from here to here to here to try to figure out what your credit report is. That's how I figured out that mine was at a 750 something. So just saying. But I'm gonna wrap this video up because I feel like this has gotten too long. So that's basically just what I did to build up my credit, and also the history of my credit. In this next video, I'm gonna tell y'all further in depth, like different things about credit. Yeah, I'm just tell y'all different things about credit and how a little bit more in depth of how I, you know, did these certain things and the things that you need to understand to build your credit. So I'm gonna stop this here. So this week I'm gonna put this one out, and then next week I want to say I'm gonna put the next one out, or I might put them out pretty soon because I know y'all Christmas is coming up, the holiday season is near, and I know y'all want to spend some money. But before y'all go out and do that, make sure y'all ain't going over y'all little budgets, okay? All right,